I'm Dawn Bateman from North Carolina.
And I'm Marg from San Diego.
So this is Heart to Hearties, and we are on the heels of the season premiere of When Calls the Heart. And we are really blessed to be with our showrunner, Lindsay Sturman, and writer-producer, Beth Stewart. So welcome.
Thank you. Great to
Thank
be
you.
here.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
having us.
well, it's been it's not been a long time because we had some after season 10 we were able to talk with you guys, but how's it going? How are you doing?
Great. We're busy, so yeah.
And it was so fun to watch. I mean, it just, you put so much into it, and then you get to see everyone watch it, and just the social media. I mean, just following everyone on Twitter. It's amazing.
Did you
How did you react to learning that it was going to air in April? Was that your expectation, or?
We never know. And so we're so thrilled that it's such a good time of the year for a show to come out. And and it's spring, and it felt right.
It was too perfect with your storyline.
Yeah, no, all of and I know we were talking about the eclipse later, but that's
Should I
just
say that?
so perfect timing for that. It's so interesting.
Yeah, and so much emphasis on spring, so couldn't have been better. Couldn't have been better. Yeah, it was a great night on X and on Facebook. We got a huge response, and it's been an avalanche of media, and none of us, I mean, we're still catching up on how much attention the show got. And on the heels of the CBS Sunday morning thing, I think that generated an enormous amount of buzz. So we're still kind of flying high from that. So
I think we were trending in entertainment of like the top 15, like 12 were When Calls the Heart.
yes.
Yeah. Well, as the show was going on, we didn't really trend in United States in the thing, but in entertainment, you had it's like season, it was 2 in entertainment.
Not as high as 2.
Yeah, that's what I saw it as.
Wow.
We were having the premiere, especially on the East Coast. I don't know if it dropped down after we were done with the East Coast feed, but yeah, it's just really everything is good. So in X, Derek was also on X, and we were there's so many that were there. It was so great. The actors and writers, and it has
Yeah,
been,
it was like old home being back with everybody. It
like
really was.
old time days. But
yeah, it was wonderful.
I've been saying, go ahead.
And Derek did tweet last night and say that you started the season off with a bang, and you certainly did. My goodness. So we got a dual opener, which I don't recall there ever being before. We got the flashback and Elizabeth's journal. Tell us about why you decided to do both, and what that was about.
Well, we just had that huge cliffhanger in season 10, right? There was a lot to explain, and we wanted to do justice to it, and we knew there were some tender feelings around Lucas and Elizabeth and all of that. We wanted to go back into the world, reestablish where we are, assure everyone that Lucas is fine. He's going to have a fabulous season 11, right, Lindsay?
Yeah.
So, but having said that, you're right that ordinarily we would jump several months between seasons. So we wanted to do that too, just to give a sense of renewal and fresh start. So we hope that we achieve both with the extended flashback, but not really flashback, coming back to this immediately after we left season 10 for a few days and then jumping ahead.
So yeah, Robert dropped those newspapers, and it set up, of course, what was my favorite plot of the night, which was, Rosemary getting scooped. I went to journalism school. It lit a fire in my belly. It clearly lit a fire in her belly. Alana Jones of Knoxville, she loves the mystery element, and she's super excited that you've kind of launched us into that whole, what looks like it's going to be a kind of long-term investigation. So we want to hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, I love mysteries, and I love Bill and Rosemary together. It's this,
Oh my gosh.
matching up
so
people that,
bold. Yeah,
right?
bold.
You don't normally see them together, so and they just it's so fun. And we start the season with there's this term, what do we owe? So what are the cliffhangers? What are all the things that we've left purposely open? And then, who shot Lucas was, I mean, first it's what happened to Lucas, then it kind of becomes who shot Lucas. But the mysteries, I read every Agatha Christie as a teenager, so I just went through all the books. And my daughter's favorite show is Murder, She Wrote, so we watch a lot of mysteries.
That's a classic.
Right?
Wow. Yeah, I love that.
And I just think the actors got so into it. So we're hoping, you'll love it as much as we do.
Well, poor Bill is never going to get to eat a sandwich in peace. It's just, and then to get chased out of his own office,
The running gag. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, it was hysterical. But my personal favorite was Clayton Pike being described as a seasonal laborer and sometimes poet.
That was all Lindsay. That was Lindsay's inspiration.
I don't remember coming up with that, but I think it's like, that there's different aspects to a character, and even if they perhaps might have something, there's something shady there, they still can have something good in them.
That one word is so evocative, though. It just kind of lifts them off the page, doesn't it?
No, it totally does. And it also is a little bit lame. I mean, like not lame, but I mean, it's sort of like if you were going to have a planted person to be the suspect, which is clearly where we're going, the fact that he's a seasonal laborer and sometime poet, just kind of, it's a giveaway to me. It's like, this guy is not the culprit here,
I was gonna say, so innocent, so innocent.
He's busy writing on the back of an envelope and, handing it to somebody to publish. Yeah. So I don't think he's our man.
So then we get the telegram from Fiona to go to Faith. And that particular storyline was that was the one that I really kind of gravitated towards because, when you are going forward in your life and you have friends that are, getting relationships. And in this particular situation, Fiona is going to be in Nashville. And it's sounding like it's indefinite at this point, working with the suffragettes. Julie Davis Williams of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, and Christina Chen of Kansas City have always loved feisty Fiona and wonder what's afoot with her.
Well, the truth of the matter is that the amazing Kayla Wallace, who plays Fiona, unsurprisingly, has had some interesting opportunities in her life, which we hope we will all learn more about in the next months. So, of course, we all want her to go out there and see what life has for her. Having said that, there's no reason she can't come back to visit, Once you've lived in Hope Valley, you're always welcome to come home.
That's right.
She is so loved, and that is, that was a loss among the Hearties today. They were definitely a little sad about it. So
we're sad. They're sad, but we're glad that they love her so much too, and her friends do too. I mean, they're really feeling the loss of her.
Yes.
And, she will not be forgotten.
Yeah, and I loved how you built it into the story. So yeah.
No, and she didn't go in a black hole. She's ready, in present. And so that I did say that this particular storyline was really great for me, for Faith. So that's what we're talking about. So yeah, we are sad to say that Fiona is probably not going to be here for some time. But when you talk about Faith, though, she now has another responsibility in the storyline, and now we're thinking, is Faith going to be a single mom in the frontier going forward?
I mean, we love this story. And I mean, I think that with Fiona, staying in Tennessee with the suffragettes, and May and Hickam, it's this moment in her life when, things seem to be, she can be sad, but also this opens this door, and, she's this doctor, she's so, into it. And then we love the idea that she could also be a caregiver. So, we'll see how the story unfolds. But no, this to us was just this is one of our.
Well, the little girl is so cute. So
Wow.
lovely.
Isn't she a doll? Yeah.
Yes. Oh my word.
I don't know if you saw the pictures of her on Instagram, but they threw a Hearties party. Like, they understood the assignment. I mean, there was a cake, there were props, there were cookies. I mean, everything was Win Calls the Heart. Everything had Hearties on it. It's like she's been here for 10 years.
Yeah, that's so cute.
So it was really cool. And I particularly loved, I mean, if it had been me and I saw May and Mike sharing their little food outside, I would have been a little snarkier than Faith was, that they've just reached the sharing stage, like I thought that was very generous of her. Like,
Well, that's the Hope Valley way.
That is the Hope Valley way. You can't really be a little snarky and jealous, but that's what I would be. So Rebecca Aaron of Ontario was among the Hearties, as we talked about with Lily. Just so many of our classroom regulars have grown up and over the years. And so it's just kind of fun to see some smaller children with Goldie and Lily and the younger kid. There were other younger kids too, in addition to little Jack, of course. So tell us about those additions.
Well, we were very much mindful of that exactly. I mean, some of our kid casts, Emily, Opal, Timmy, they've been with the show since season 1, right? So they are aging up, and that's exciting for us too, to follow their tracks. But we are aware that we need new generations coming in. So there's LJ, little Jack, and we call him LJ in the room. Little Jack, Lily, and Goldie is a few years off, but she'll be coming along too soon enough. So yes, we are very aware that we need new kids coming through, while at the same time loving our older kids and wanting to see what happens with their lives.
And then you have little Sarah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Little Sarah wait, now, and who was the little girl front and center during the solar system lesson?
Not Sarah?
That's Sarah. Yeah.
Was Sarah. Okay. All right. And people do reference the black hole, but I have to say, this show is pretty impressive in its ability to retain. I mean, look how long those kids have been around. They're driving, they're graduating from high school. I mean, it's pretty amazing how many of them you all have retained. Great job. Yeah, great job. Go ahead.
We have so many characters that you can go back to. And where are they, and bring those stories back in. So as for writers, it's just having this world is amazing.
The deep well, it's true.
Well, and I particularly loved how you also leaned into the teenagers last night. It was just classic. Here Nathan has been away for 4 months or for a long period of time. I don't know exactly how long, and wants to spend some time with his daughter, but she's got other plans. And then, I mean, the classic roasting of her dad, in that final scene where, Nathan's like trying to play it cool, like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but something like, I was able to make it after all.
Oh, that was great.
Like that. Or Allie wanted me to come to this or something. And then Allie's like, oh yeah, like I really had to twist your arm, I mean, totally threw him under the bus. Like, wow, you guys have your finger on the pulse of being a parent of a teen.
Well, we have both been parents of teens.
Yes.
Wow, that's a fun dynamic though. I love that.
Yeah, and I'm an empty nester, so I'm really experiencing what it's like to say goodbye to them, and and they're like, see ya. So it's hard. It's like when they're little, they need you so much, and now it's But it is amazing to watch the kids actually grow up in both on the show, you know, and then of course in real life. And you know, I love Nathan and Allie's, you know, dynamic, and I think they have a really beautiful story that it starts to percolate sort of midway through, and it's really one of my favorite stories the show has ever done.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
Kevin kind of there was an interview with him,
Mhm.
and he said it was really impactful, and uh Jada was just so lovely for what the story will be. So that
Jada
was our tease.
has an amazing season where she
Yeah,
just really
she's
steps
a
up.
great
Yeah.
actress anyway. So that's
Well, you
great.
can see it's, I mean, even LJ Highland last night, I mean, you
Mhm.
know, there's more dialogue, there's more
Yeah,
expected of
definitely.
him. Yeah, you're seeing all these young people really developing. It's really cool.
Right.
Um, Pivoting now to one of the most anticipated moments, because there were, let's face it, there were a lot of previews, so we knew a lot of this ahead of time, but the haircut. So that was really an intriguing scene. You know, they'd had this kind of this talk a little bit about Lucas, and then about and then she kind of, and then Elizabeth says something like, I'm glad that everybody in my life is safe, and Rosemary's like, are we still talking about Lucas? Or, you know, like she's you know, busy with the scissors, and then she says ready to take a plunge, and Elizabeth thinks she means something entirely different. So I need to know about this scene. Was this written as being as lingeringly awkward as it was? Was it written to be comedic? Like they played, I need to know.
I would say it was performed as written.
Wow.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay.
But you know, episode one, it's Elizabeth is in a different headspace. She's feeling like she wants to move forward with her life, but she's also nervous about it. She isn't sure if, you know, certain ships have already sailed for her or not. So what we wanted to do in that moment was to reveal what was in her mind, what she's thinking about, what she can't articulate yet.
Mhm.
So hopefully that was clear what she was thinking about.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it was just so interesting that Rosemary's reaction to it was, you know, that she's, I don't know, it felt vulnerable and like, okay, you know, maybe she's just giving her space to
Oh,
talk.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
I love how Rosemary keeps her cards pretty close, but she also gives space, and she maybe knows more than she lets on, you know, like
Right.
a friend would do. So like just let you work through stuff without, you know, pushing you or anything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it
Wow.
was, and even the scene with Mike and May where Bill Avery walks by and says, "Oh, like an old married couple or whatever." And that was such a long, awkward moment too. It was like
Right. Yeah.
we had awkwardness in this
Yeah.
first episode. It's like right there. Yeah,
Right.
super interesting.
Out of the
Setting up
canon.
little conflicts that might pay off. They might
Yes,
unfold as we
exactly.
record.
Exactly.
So interesting.
You're planting awkward seeds. For,
And they're all in abundance at this point.
yeah, really.
So we need to talk about some real estate questions. So there was an ET interview. I don't know. I think it was with Chris talking about that they would have to sell the saloon. So Caroline Walsh of South Bend, Indiana, asked, "Why did Lucas have to sell the saloon?"
Yeah, I think we might be getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
I think
Well, I
I
think
know there've been
ET
a
got
lot
a
of
little ahead of itself. Yeah.
right, right.
Right.
That hasn't actually happened yet, but I think
Ah,
Okay.
but now that he is governor and now that he's proposing this grand vision of building this resort just outside of Hope Valley, he's an owner of a resort and a hotel, which could be seen as competing or benefiting from. So it's a conflict of interest. So he is Edwin, his trusty advisor and political henchman, is at his elbow saying,
I
you
don't know
know,
about
you want to keep
trusty,
this
but
clean,
Yeah.
Lucas, you know, you better. Yeah,
Well,
and he's reluctant about it. It's hard for him to sell the hotel.
even with the real estate with Lee's, the purchase of his land, I initially, as I was watching, it was like, oh, the logging will not be there, but I don't know if that's not right or not. So, you know, is it just partial? Can you clarify anything about that?
No, that's correct. He is selling land that he had purchased to log, but
Okay.
instead he's saying, I would like to create a legacy and create something more lasting than that. And then they come up with the idea of the resort.
Yeah, interesting. So Tammy Bogus of Titusville, Florida, she said she gasped a little when Lucas broadcast that the resort will be built in Hope Valley. And so she does not want the town to be more modern. So what do you say, writers?
Yeah, no, we don't want it to be more modern either, but we want the conflict because it is, you know, it would divide it. We see it all over where some big change is coming, whether it's good or bad, and it really divides people. So we wanted to play that conflict, but also we agree secretly we do not want Hope Valley to change in any, you know, any way that's not, you know, good and, you know, organic and slow.
But by the same token, Lucas is governor now, and he has to look to the future. And in a strange way, bringing more modernism in is a way to save what is the essence of Hope Valley, right? So,
yeah,
right.
yeah, as we've seen, you know, some obviously there could be a good balance. So we're going to trust Lucas to find that right balance. So it's uncanny that you had a solar system, planets coming together on the eve of an eclipse. I don't know how you guys do this. I really
don't either. I think that
we have connections, you know.
I think you do. It's another God wink. I mean, you know, the pandemic hit, you had I don't remember what the outbreak was in Hope Valley, but it was like it's truly uncanny how you predict the future.
And I should ask if that was on purpose that they picked that air date, but it could not have been a bigger coincidence.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Exactly. No,
It was totally a coincidence because Michelle Riddell Combs of Evansville, Indiana, and Caroline Richardson, they were very impressed and thought that you guys had planned it exactly that way. You can claim it.
There was a famous eclipse
own
at the
it.
time,
Just
though, right?
Okay, yeah. So tell us about that.
Beth,
It
wasn't
is
there a
based on
famous
some kind of
eclipse
historic.
in history at the time?
In 1921?
Yeah.
Well, my recollection is it was about a year ago that we were brainstorming ideas for season 11. And just at that time, there was an alignment of Jupiter and Venus happening. So that's what inspired us. We had no thought that there was an eclipse going. We have no idea when the show is going to air. So it was a complete coincidence that it actually turned out to be on the eve of an eclipse.
And is this stars aligning? You know, last year we had, you know, Seize the Day as the opening kind of theme for the season. Is stars aligning going to be carried throughout the season?
I would say so, Lindsay.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, that is a theme throughout.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
And how about season 12? Are we do we think the stars are aligning for season 12? I mean, if you wanted to spill any possible renewal news here, we're here for it.
We don't, but we are hopeful and we feel we still have a lot of stories to tell. So
well, Hearties are going to bring it. We're always going to bring the ratings.
The whole idea that we're in double digits. I mean, we're just thinking about 12, just thinking about it. I mean, I thought it was really kind of pivotal that it was like it went 10 and we went 11. I'm like, oh my word, if we have the opportunity to have 12, what a great day for When Calls the Heart, for sure.
We're thinking about it a lot.
I know.
You know, any progress reports that you want to make.
Exactly.
Let us know.
We're all ears at this point. So we want to close with a new game for our chats. So our chats are not really a review of what the episode was, but getting your perspective as a writer and showrunner. So I love the insights that we have, but at the end of this show, we're going to do something different, and we're going to call it the Heartie-Ship. So the bottom line is it's going to be a rapid fire. And are you familiar with the game Battleship?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you hit or miss. There's two persons on the game board, and then you have ships, and so either you hit or miss. So we're gonna see hit, miss, or confidential. So
Classified. Yeah.
classified. Sorry,
Yeah.
classified.
No worries. Okay. Goldie, the genius child, speaks her first words.
Classified.
Oh dear. Jeanette
You
shows
can't
up.
use classified every single time. That's not allowed.
Oh
Put
dear.
in that.
Jeanette shows up, and she's more scoundrel than saint.
Let's call that a hit for the first part. Jeanette shows up.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
We hear from Henry about his visit with Abigail.
Hit.
Okay.
Whoa.
We're
Ned
getting
becomes
close.
Ned becomes a whiskey runner as Prohibition hits.
I could say classified, but I think we'll go with a miss.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, this is an important one. Nathan does some shirtless wood chopping.
Maybe veering in the hit area, perhaps.
Okay.
Ready.
Wow.
Minnie throws a someone out of the choir for being pitchy.
That's a definite miss. Minnie would never do that. Rosemary, maybe, but
Darn.
not Minnie. Right.
Darn. Henry eventually goes to work for Governor Bouchard.
Classified.
Oh.
Okay.
Jack's brother Tom marries Elizabeth's sister Julie with Joseph officiating.
Classified.
Oh, okay. Fiona makes an appearance in Hope Valley.
Classified.
Dear. May
Boy.
overfills her basket with mud and takes a spill on her new bike.
Okay, we can definitely call that one a muddy miss.
The promised Nathan and Elizabeth kiss comes in the first half of the season.
Highly classified.
Classified. Boy.
Oh, that's a lot of classified.
That was a lot of classifieds. I think we're going to have to change the rules so there's only phone a friend a couple times. Because we did not. Well, we got a small number of hits, so that's good.
Yeah.
Debbie Chartrand of no, I'm going to mispronounce this. Honeoye Falls, New York, says you put a smile on her face for an entire hour last night. And then right after that, we got this adorable preview of the next episode where we were all laughing so hard at this, Elizabeth, telling Allie, figuring out that Allie isn't throwing a party. Nathan thinks that there's a party being thrown. It's a mess. It's a mess. You have set up a really big mess that looks hysterical. So, and then of course today we got the little Jack making the card with the family all together. I mean, come on. This is who wrote the episode next week? Who directed it? Tell us what you can, because it looks adorable.
It's the brilliant Derek Thompson, who's been on since season 2,
Wow.
and Neil Fernley, who's also brilliant, been on since season 1, I believe. So,
okay. And he directed last night as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, he did this whole block. Okay. All right. So we can't wait. We just can't wait for that. So you guys are amazing. To come on here each week. We really appreciate it. Hearties have a gazillion questions as always. So thank you for spending time with us, and we can't wait to spend some more time with you as the season goes on. Thank you.
Great to be here.
Thank you so much.
Super fun. And we're counting on you, Hearties, because we know that you're going to submit some more questions every Sunday night before 10:30 p.m. Pacific. You can get your questions in, and then we rush them into place for these incredible writers the next day. And we'll see you on Twitter, rocking with the hashtag Hearties. We'll see you, of course, on the Hallmark Channel, 8 p.m. Central. And if you don't want to miss a single one of these episodes, you need to go and subscribe to YouTube so that you can be here for every Heart to Hearties. Thank you so much. See you later.